How we doing, everybody, and welcome in to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Tuesday, September 17th. Oh my, it's already almost the end of September. I mean, it is getting late in the year already. We can tell the sports seasons are just heating up, right? College football is in full swing. We have the NFL kicking off with a bang so far here. And baseball right around the corner. We're going to be talking about October baseball here as we watch the Brewers and Phillies, two top teams in their respected divisions and in the NL, squaring off right now in Milwaukee. So it cannot get better than this, except for March Madness, right? March Madness this time of year, it's close. It's close. If you're a basketball fan, you lean one way, but if you're football, it's this time of year right here, right? So it's going to be a little short of an episode today, a little bit shorter today here. Not live today, looking to go live probably tomorrow night. So if you want to find the show live, want to comment in on Twitter, on Twitch, I believe we're going to be on Twitch there, Wisco Sports on the Go on Twitch. Also on Twitter, Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trade. You can find it live on both locations there. Trying to get live on Facebook. It's a lot to get onto each platform there. Going to be trying to get onto Facebook here soon and get all three platforms rolling there. But today, let's get into a little bit of Packer talk here. We talked about Packers yesterday. They had an impressive win over the weekend there, a gutsy win. We're not going to go as far to say impressive, but we're going to go gutsy, gritty, whatever you want to use for. It was a barn burner of a game, but they got the job done against the Indianapolis Colts. So a great win over the weekend. We saw Matt LaFleur spoke to the media there yesterday. One of the biggest things that I took out of there, outside of he did mention about, Jordan Love and everything like that, and they asked him about if the way Malik Willis played, they asked if that is going to change how he, change his thoughts, right? If that changed his thoughts about the plan moving forward, and he's kind of like, no, that had nothing. The way that he played will not change how I feel going forward because Jordan Love's the guy, right? And if Jordan Love is ready to go, Jordan Love's going to be in there. If he's not, right? Then we stick with Malik. They trust in Malik. They think that Malik has the talent. He has the ability to get them wins while Jordan Love is out. But if Jordan Love can play, he's in there. No doubt in my mind, no doubt in Matt LaFleur's mind, he's starting Jordan Love when he's ready. So that's what we got out of that little first statement there. But he also went on to say, they asked him a question about the playbook, right? If he was going to open up the playbook more moving forward here with Malik. We saw a lot of runs, right? We saw a lot of runs, not a lot of passes. I think one of the reporters said like 80-20, right? And Matt LaFleur said the playbook was open for Malik Willis there, but running the football was the game plan. Don't count out the pass moving forward, essentially where he went with the whole conversation. He didn't count out the pass. He mentioned in his thing he had a couple of nice plays Malik did. The downfield throw to Rome, where Rome went up, made a play. Right? You're in situations like that. It was a goal ball to Rome on a third, and I think it was like 3rd and 5 or something like that. They ran a goal ball to Rome. That's what they wanted, and Rome went up, made a play. He's one of their playmakers out there in that wide receiver course. So that's what you wanted to see. He had another one to Wicks there, that little check down play to Wicks, and then also even to Kraft. Like Kraft made some big plays. So the pass game wasn't completely out of it. It was, you went into a game. Yes, you wanted to run the football. That was. You can't get out of that game and say we weren't planning on running the football that much. It just happened that way. But it kind of did, right? Because you went into that one, you said, we want to run the football right now. We want to run the ball in this game. We don't want to make Malik have to win this game with his arm. But it just so happened we were finding holes. The offensive line was playing well. Tucker Kraft was playing well, blocking at the tight end spot, right? Everything was flowing so well. Why would you change the game plan? Why would you change and just start making Malik throw the ball around when it's working so well to keep on running, right? So it wasn't like we were avoiding the pass is what LaFleur was trying to say, but in my mind, you were avoiding the pass until you had to, right? You didn't want to make Malik throw the ball until he had to. I don't think that they don't trust him. I think they trust Malik to be able to sling it around, right, if he has to, but they don't. Right? It's one of those kind of things where you don't want to make him do it until he has to, right? So that's what we got out of there with LaFleur was that the playbook, it was open, didn't really need the whole thing. There's a lot of moving pieces, right? A lot of moving pieces, a lot of options, a little bit of everything in that game. And all in all, you come out of there and the game plan was spot. Like you cannot sit there and complain about the game plan. The game plan was great heading into that one, and it worked out well, right? And like LaFleur said in that same in that same press conference, asking him about the game plan going into that one and if it would have to change against the Titans because the Titans are going to see everything that the Packers did against the Colts, what worked, what didn't work, what they did to beat the Colts ultimately. And I mean, yes, the game plan is going to change, right? Like LaFleur said, the game plan is going to change. You're going to have to make bits and pieces. You're not going to make this. You're not going to go into the game against the Titans and try to do. You're going to want to do the exact same things, but the Titans are going to try to take away those things. So how do you adapt, right? So it's going to be watching game film, finding there's a weakness on every defense, right? Finding a weakness, finding a hole, something that you could take advantage of, working through that spot, doing the little things throughout the game. So it's going to be like it was this last week against the Colts. What LaFleur, Halfley had to do on defense, what LaFleur did on offense. It's going to be a lot of that going into next week there, trying to come up with a game plan that's going to be right for Malik Willis. And, Malik Willis even touched on it after the game there. He said, LaFleur always knows how to put us in the right spot, right? He knows how to help us succeed. And that's what I think really sets LaFleur apart from some other coaches in the NFL. Eberflus down there with the Bears, right? Take a shot at the Bears there. He knows how to put his quarterback, whoever it is, in the right spot to win. Because I saw some doorknob Lions fans and Bear fans. They were all saying, well, Malik Willis can get a win. So that just tells you that Jordan Love's a system quarterback. They changed the playbook. You cannot watch that game and say Malik Willis was running the offense the same way Jordan Love would have ran it, right? It was different. It was different, but Matt LaFleur drew up a game plan that would benefit Malik Willis, just like he would for Jordan Love. You look at that game one against the Eagles, I thought the Packers should have ran it a lot more. I really did. I thought they went away from the run when I thought they should have went towards the run a little bit more. Early on, they were relying on Jordan Love to make the plays. That's fine, but you almost want it to be like a 60-40 kind of game if you can be, right? You want to use that run game when you can. We saw it work against the Colts. They didn't use it as much against the Eagles until late. Game plans change, right? Game plans change week to week. If Matt LaFleur can draw you up a game plan in this one, I'm not worried. I'm not worried, especially with a guy like Matt LaFleur drawing up a game plan. I'm not worried about this game against the Titans if Malik is the one who has to go. Because Love, he's still week to week. LaFleur said it there. He would love to see Jordan Love get some practice time before going out there. You don't know if that's going to be the case, if that's going to be able to happen. We saw the Ian Rappaport, that breaking news was going on all over the place that he won't be back till week 5. Matt LaFleur's not saying anything like that so far. He's kind of putting it as we could see Jordan Love before that. He said he was in the weight room. He was in the training room there doing some of his work. So he's slowly starting to get back. Maybe we see him before that week 5 game. It's all a wait and see at this point. It's all a wait and see. When Jordan Love feels like he is about 100%, that's the way I'm going with it. If he feels like he's 100%, he's ready to go. You're throwing him back out there. That's plain and simple, right? If it starts to go ugly, maybe he comes back a little bit sooner. It's not like it's a have to at this point, right? Malik Willis got to win, right? You're 1-1 right now. He got you a win. If you can beat the Titans, you're 2-1 heading into that Vikings game. That Vikings team is a dangerous team. I keep saying it. I keep watching them. That Vikings team is a dangerous team. Jordan Love comes back against the Vikings. You'd love it. If Malik Willis has to go, it's at some point, your defense, like we saw against the Colts, they got to be able to step up in those spots when you're missing key pieces like that. The offensive line has still got to play their game, right? Everybody's still got to do their thing. It's just the game plan's got to change a little bit, quarterback to quarterback, right? So, that's what we're seeing there. Jordan Love still week to week as of what Matt LaFleur had to say there. They talked. I saw a quote. Actually, I'm going to get to that first. I saw a quote about Malik Willis. I found it out there on the internet. And, the more I read into it, the more I saw that it was actually a true quote on this. And Malik Willis, this was from a Colts fan that actually put this out there on, I don't know if it was on Facebook. I just saw the post on Facebook. I don't know if it was originally on Facebook there. But this guy came out, no name on it. So whoever it was, if you hear this or whatever, kudos to you on putting this out there. Thank you for the great quote. He said, I'm a Colts fan, so of course I'm disappointed in their performance today. However, when Malik Willis was in Indianapolis for the draft combine, someone captured footage on their cell phone across the street of Malik handing out all of his combine swag to a homeless man in Indy. They give the player T-shirts, hoodies, etc. He gave it away and tried to do it discreetly with no hype or attention or credit. He is a great dude with a great heart, and I'm happy for him that he played so well. Keep being you, Malik Willis. I'll never forget that gesture. That's awesome. Like, I gotta be honest. Like, I am almost 98% sure, I'm probably 99% sure that this is true, that this whole quote is true right here, that this guy, this is what they saw and everything like that. And that's awesome. Like, that's the guy. I don't care if he's a backup quarterback, if he's the backup kicker. I don't care what he is. That's a dude that I want in the locker room, because that's a dude who, I mean, that's a dude you want anywhere, right, on your team. That's awesome. So hats off to Malik Willis. I mean, you could tell, listening to him talk and watching him play and everything, he is just this, he's a good-hearted dude. Like, end of the day, he is one of those kind of guys, right? You get some of your professional athletes where you just want to kick them in the side of the head sometime, right? And I get that with LeBron James sometimes, right? I just want to kick him in the side of the head. He doesn't do anything that bad, I guess, but you just want to kick him in the side of the head. I don't know what it is. But to hear something like this, it gives you hope, right? It gives you some of that hope that maybe not all professional athletes are stuck up sometimes, right? I mean, a lot of people came out of the Tyreek Hill situation thinking that was one stuck-up dude, right? And now you hear this about Malik Willis, and you're like, this is a good dude. Like, this is a good dude. I'm glad he's in Green Bay, whether it's a backup quarterback, whether I hear him, see him, I meet him ever, right? I mean, that'd be awesome, right? But this is a great dude. So hats off to Malik Willis, and, I mean, keep doing you. Like this Colts fan, keep being you, Malik Willis. That was awesome. And I am glad that he's getting a shot to put some of his talents forward on the football field. I mean, yes, it came at the expense of Jordan Love getting hurt, which isn't great, right? I'm not going to say that's great, but I'm glad that Malik Willis gets to show it off on the football field a little bit more here. Maybe, just maybe, some team, if the Packers don't decide to keep him around or whatever it is, some team out there sees this and they're like, hey, we could give him a shot in here. Or, you just hope for guys like that they find a way somewhere else to make things happen. So that was an awesome quote that I read there on the internet there yesterday. But moving on here, a couple more Packer tidbits that I wanted to get to for the day here. Lots of people calling for Quay Walker to get benched yet. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. I just wanted to give my thoughts on the whole Quay Walker situation. Quay Walker is one of the most athletic linebackers, if not the most. I think he might be the most. He is probably the most athletic linebacker the Green Bay Packers have. I really do think, right? So where does his issue come in? In the open field, he makes tackles. He's a good in pass coverage. Where's his problem, right? His problem comes stopping the run. And it seems like Quay Walker's always there, right? If you watch back, I watch the game film. I watch all this stuff here. I'm watching the game live or whatever it is. It always seems like Quay Walker is there, right? But he blows past the play or he's in the wrong spot, right? Sometimes, honestly, my thing with Quay Walker isn't as much the talent's there, right? The talent's there. This dude has talent. I think he has a ton of upside. What I think is, and what I've said before is, Quay Walker needs to play discipline. I don't think he plays discipline. That's my problem with Quay Walker. It's not the fact that he doesn't have the talent. I'm not going as far as benching him yet. But what I think is that I don't know what it's going to take, right? I'm not in the locker room. I'm not the linebackers coach. I'm not Jeff Hafley, right? But somebody in that room, somebody on that defense, they've got to be able to help him develop into a more disciplined, because the dude flies a route. He can make plays. He can make plays, right? He can't shed a block, right? That's a problem. He can't shed a block. So maybe you got to there's bits and pieces to his game that need to be fixed, that need to be worked on. I don't know if that's more. You look at this defensive line. You look at guys like Rashan Gary. Maybe Rashan Gary needs to work with Quay Walker a little bit more on shedding blocks, right? Or even looking like a veteran like Preston Smith, who's been there, done that. Some of those guys, right? Rashan Gary, he finds his way into the backfield a couple times here and there. Maybe some of these guys need to step in and say, hey, Quay, let's work a little extra. Let's do a little extra here, shedding this block, working on shedding these blocks. Jeff Hafley, working with him on being more disciplined, right? Letting the play, seeing the play, vision, right? Matt LaFleur preaches vision, using vision, right? I mean, he dropped an interception, right? Being disciplined, calm, under control, disciplined football, right? We talked about it yesterday there. I mentioned the Packers defense and how they did play disciplined against Anthony Richardson and his ability to get outside the pocket and run. They played very disciplined football, keeping him in that pocket. They blitzed. They blitzed all day long, right? But they played disciplined. They sat back. They didn't allow Richardson to get out of there, do his thing. So I'm not completely done with Quay Walker like a lot of people want to be. I think Quay Walker needs work yet. Now, you would hope, right? The hope is that he would develop a little bit faster than what he has, because it has been. It's been a little bit, right? It's been a little bit now for Quay. He's had his moments, right? I mean, we talk about the ejections and everything like that. He's had his moments. I feel like he's been getting a little bit level-headed now. Now it's about the play on the field, right? Being disciplined, under control, doing your thing at the middle linebacker spot. So I'm not going to go as far as benching Quay Walker at this point, but what I'm going to say is he needs work yet. He definitely needs work yet. Last but not least, I actually got two more things I want to get to. Narveson. I wanted to get to Narveson today because there is too many people out there are already saying, are we really going to stick with this rookie kicker who's 6 for 8 on the season? Are we really going to stick with him? To my answer, yes. Yes, we're going to stick with him. He's 6 for 8. I get that. You want to get nervous. That's fine. You can be nervous. He's nervous, right? He's come up in a couple of pressured spots. Now, I'm not saying that he's not an NFL kicker and he shouldn't be able to make those kicks in pressured spots, right? But he's a rookie. His first miss came in Brazil. The second miss came in Lambeau. I would be more nervous if that one in Lambeau missed wide right by 15 yards. Maybe even 5. Maybe even 5 feet. I'd be a little more nervous, right? It missed the flag. I mean, it went over the flagpole just to the right, right? It went over the pole, the whatever you want to call it there, the field goal post. It went over to the right of it. I mean, what? Maybe not even a foot, right? I'm not worried. I'm not sitting here worried about that. 6 for 8. Has not missed an extra point yet. 6 for 8 on the season. I believe his 2 misses are from 40 to 49. Inside of that, he's been money so far. Knock on wood. Right? Knock on wood. He's been money so far. We just got to relax. We got to relax. We got to let Jordan Love come back before we start freaking out, right? We're freaking out right now about our kicker, and we don't even have our starting quarterback out there right now. Yes, it would have been great if you would have made that kick against the Colts, right? Would have made that end of that game 0 pressure, right? But what if Josh Jacobs doesn't fumble the football? So do you want to blame, that game? Because I saw people quoting that. Well, he missed that crucial kick against the Colts there. It was crucial, yeah. I will 100% agree with you. It was crucial in that spot. But what I will say, too, is, do you blame Josh Jacobs then for fumbling the football going into the end zone? Do you blame it on them? Because that was a touchdown, right? Do we blame it on Josh Jacobs then? Because that was a crucial touchdown, too. So that was 17-0 at time. 17-0, 17 to it was 17-0 at that time, I believe. It would have put the Packers up 17-0. Do we blame that fumble and the close win on Josh Jacobs? No, we don't. We don't sit here magnifying Josh Jacobs. Why are we magnifying Narveson for a miss there? Right? If it continues, if in the crucial spots he can't hit all season long, now we start to worry, right? If we get to midseason and it seems like every crucial kick is a miss, okay, now we got to look a little bit deeper here. Now we got to figure it out, or we got to find somebody, right? Until then, you have a rookie kicker who in 2 games has gone 6 for 8. As long as 46, he's missed 2 of them from 40 to 49 yards. We just got to take a breath. We got to relax. It'll be okay. It'll all be okay. I'm the guy who freaks out all the time, right? My job is to blow up. That's what I do a lot. We have our overreaction Mondays, right? Sometimes I'm good. Let's just take a breath. We'll be good, right? We'll be good there. Next, last but not least, with the Packers here, Tucker Kraft getting more snaps than Musgrave. Why is that? Why is Tucker Kraft getting more snaps than Musgrave? Well, we went off of game one. Packers, a lot more pass. They weren't really using the 12, right? They weren't really using the double tight end set there. So Musgrave didn't see a lot of time. Saw a lot of Tucker Kraft there. But in hindsight, why is he receiving more time? Well, number one, against the Colts, they ran the ball, right? Tucker Kraft is a better blocker than Luke Musgrave. That's just plain and simple. I mean, you look at him blocking out in the open field, Tucker Kraft is an excellent blocker. So that is your first thing you look at there. He's a great blocker. And you watch the game film back, every time they ran the football, they followed Kraft, right? That's just how it was. They followed Kraft wherever he was going. And he set great blocks down the field. So that's number one reason why Tucker Kraft is getting a lot more time. Number two, he has developed into a good route runner and pass catcher. He wasn't terrible last season. I'm not saying that he was terrible, but what I think is he's developed a lot, right? They utilize him in the pass game. I mean, you look at him this season here, looking at him on the season, he's got four catches there, I believe, just to get 4 catches on 5 targets for 53 yards. Not bad. Not bad. Tucker Kraft is doing his thing, right? Tucker Kraft is doing his thing. So, in hindsight, why is Tucker Kraft receiving more time than Luke Musgrave? I believe Tucker Kraft, I don't know if Matt LaFleur wants to admit this or not because he didn't, right? They compared snaps. They compared everything. I don't know if he wants to admit this or not, but I'm pretty sure Tucker Kraft won the job. Like, just be honest. Just being honest from what I've seen is that Tucker Kraft has developed more than Luke Musgrave. He's more versatile, right? I don't have to run this set where I'm throwing Luke Musgrave out there on pass routes, and if we're going to run the ball, Tucker Kraft is out there, right? I mean, it's like a Mercedes Lewis kind of thing, right? You don't really pass the Mercedes Lewis. You just wanted him out there for the run blocking. It's one of those kinds of situations where now you have a tight end who you can utilize in both situations. You want him out there for the run. You know he can catch passes. I mean, end of the day, that's the guy you want out there. So, to me, Tucker Kraft has, taken a lot more snaps. He's been in there on more snaps, and I think that's right. I think that's the way that they got to flow with it. Luke Musgrave is a fine tight end. I'm not dissing on Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave is going to get his time, right? He's going to get his time in there. But as of right now, I'm all for Tucker Kraft getting time because he is playing well. He is playing well. He deserves it. I mean, run blocking, pass catching, pass route running. I mean, great. Great on all ends there. So, great stuff there out of Tucker Kraft. Great talk there with the Packers. I want to get to the Badgers now. I want to get to a little bit of Badger talk here. The breaking news coming out of yesterday was that Tyler Van Dyke is now done for the season with an ACL tear. Not great news. Not great news on that front. So, what now? What now, right? The question is, when your starting quarterback goes down, what now? Well, if you listen to me through weeks 1 and 2 and 3 now, excuse me there, I've thought the offense has struggled to find its footing already. Now you lose your starting quarterback. Now you have to turn to the sophomore there in Braden Locke. Now, it's not the end of the world. So don't get me wrong. It's not the end of the world. End of the day, you play with what you got, right? You play with who is healthy. You get out there. You try to win football games. So Braden Locke is now the man in Madison. I didn't think he played great. He didn't play great in the game against Alabama. I didn't think he played terrible. I thought he was kind of he played okay, right? So moving forward, what do you got to see out of Braden Locke to feel comfortable? Well, you got to see him get into a rhythm. I thought that was the biggest thing that we didn't see against Alabama. Him getting into a rhythm. Now, it's tough to do it mid-game, right? It's tough to do it in a game. It's tough to do it. 0 time in a game against an opposing team, right, all season long. All he had to go off of was training camp. Now, what makes you feel better was that coming out of training camp, it was a battle, right? All we heard was it was a battle. it was a close battle between him and Tyler Van Dyke all summer long, all into the fall, everything like that. It was this close battle. So now we get into, okay, if it was a close battle, we shouldn't really take that big of a step back, right? I don't think we will as much. I thought his performance against Alabama showed a lot of rust, right? It took him a little while to get on rhythm. He was throwing behind guys. It didn't seem like he was on. So now you had to play USC. He has the talent. I'm not going to sit here. I don't think that Braden Locke is just this no talent, no good quarterback that the Badgers have sitting there in the backup spot that we're going to throw out there and we're just screwed, right? I don't think that Luke Fickle and Phil Longo, as much as I don't really trust in Phil Longo right now, I don't think that that's what they're throwing out there. I think Braden Locke has some potential. I think he has arm talent, right? He's got a big arm. We saw him air it out over Will Pauling's head there in Madison. He's got the arm, right? Now it's about accuracy. Now it's about hitting those deep throws. Can he be accurate, right? Is he going to, I talked about it coming out of that Alabama game, was that at times it felt like he held onto the ball too long. So now it's about getting into the rhythm of the game, right? Feeling the game, feeling the pressure, knowing when you got to get out of the pocket, knowing when you got to step up. It's all those little things, right? I thought he played rushed against Alabama. I thought he wasn't thinking. It's a tough game to get thrown into, right? Especially against a great defense, a good team in Alabama, right? It's a tough game to get thrown into. I think it's going to be a lot of that game is going to help simply because I don't think USC's defense is as good as what we saw in Alabama's defense. And I thought Braden Locke going up against that Alabama defense there is going to help him moving forward because I think it's going to give him a little bit of confidence, right? And all in all, I really think that Braden Locke, I'm going to hope. I'm going to give a hope here. I think that Braden Locke can find a groove. I really can. I think he can find a groove. I don't think the Badgers are just going to go into this complete plummet. I don't think they're going to plummet to the bottom of the cliff right now. If they weren't plummeting before, I don't think they're going to plummet now, right? There's a lot of Badger fans out there who think the Badgers are plummeting. So I don't think that the Badgers are just going to fall into this abyss. I think they're going to be able to hang on. I think they're going to play some tight games here. I think they're going to give teams some troubles, right? That's the hope. That's the hope, right? They're going to give some team troubles. That's what we got to hope for. End of the day, that's what we got to hope for. This is you look at the rest of the team. It's the same situation that we're looking at with the Packers and Malik Willis, right? Braden Locke needs the offensive line to continue to play better, just like we saw against Alabama. I thought the O-line played better against Alabama than they did against Western Michigan and South Dakota. I thought they got better. I really did. So the offensive line has got to continue to play better, give him time in the pocket, right? Malusi, Tyree Walker, Dupree, whether it's Dillian in there, what's his name? Cade Yakameli, Jackson Aker. I don't care who it is coming out of the backfield. They got to find ways to be able to get yards, right? Find the hole, get yards, right? That's big for a young quarterback who's just trying to find his footing there. Wide receivers, got to help him out there. And last but not least, Phil Longo's got to help him out, right? Phil Longo has got to draw up a better game plan than what we've seen so far, because that leads into my next topic that I want to talk about. It's kind of in the same group there. I've seen a lot of people across social media and everything like that, saying that the clock is ticking on Luke Fickle, that we haven't seen what we've wanted to see so far. So now we're to this point where we're giving up on Luke Fickle. Maybe it wasn't a great hire, everything like that. Well, I'm going to tell you this now. I don't think I was completely sold on Luke Fickle right off the bat, right? I've kind of bought into it a little bit, right? I think he's got the potential to turn around the program. My biggest thing is I don't think he brought the best team along with him. Longo and Trestle, right? I don't think those two are good coordinators. I really don't. Longo is not this air raid, whatever this crap is that we're throwing out week after week. I don't like it. I don't. Trestle's defense. I don't like Trestle's defense at times. I like it. We dissected the whole thing yesterday. If you didn't hear the talk about the defense or anything like that, tune in or go back to yesterday's show. I gave the recap there, so I'm not going to go through it completely again today. But I have not liked those two as coordinators since they walked through the door. So before we're talking about canning Fickle, I think we got to look at those two. I think we got to look at those two first, right? That leads you into then with Fickle. Was the rebuild worse than what we thought, right? With Fickle coming in, we saw some of the guys, some of the talent that he had left over from Paul Chryst, and some of the guys that weren't really, the not so good talent that Paul Chryst left. Was this rebuild that Luke Fickle had to do, was it a little bit harder? Was it going to be, wider? A longer span. That's what I'm looking for. A longer span than what we thought. And that could be what we're feeling, what we're seeing is that he doesn't have the talent he wants yet. He doesn't truthfully have the right recruits that he wants yet, right? These young quarterbacks that he has in the room now. Matator and LaCruz is also in there yet. And then we see Paskijovich is also in there. Those three guys, freshman quarterbacks on the roster. One of those guys, are they actually the guys that he wants to fit his system, right? The glorified Paul Chryst offense is what I like to call it, because it's a lot more run than air raid, right? It's all of those things that I think we have to look at before we completely say, let's just fire on Luke Fickle. Let's fire him. Let's get rid of him, right? We're done with him. Let's go find somebody else, right? At the time, this was a big-time hire. Now everybody seems to be turning the door on him in his second year. I'm the first to shut the door on somebody, and I'm going to say right now, I'm dialing it back a little bit, right? I'm dialing it back a little bit. I'm letting it progress. If it gets to year 3 and we don't see any progress, then you come back to this show and I'm going to be blowing a lid, right? Last but not least, Wisconsin has a higher academic standard. Now, I know they fluctuated that a little bit there, but the higher academic standards there, plus NIL money. You cannot forget about NIL money there in Madison. The Badgers don't have a lot of NIL money to be thrown around. This whole new NIL bullcrap that they're throwing around college sports, personally, to me, ruined the game that we loved, that we were loving for years. It ruined it, right? And I said right off the bat, when they did this whole NIL and all these, the endorsement deals and everything like that, I said there was a smart way to do it and there was the wrong way to do it. And I thought there was this dam. And on one side of the dam was all these colleges and everything like that were doing well and everything along those lines. And at the top of that dam, there was a crack in it, right? And on the other side of that, you had all the student athletes, everything like that, the complainers that were going completely bananas, right? And instead of just cracking the dam a little bit more, maybe just open up the valve and let some of it go, right? They cracked that baby. They blew it up. They blew up the dam. Colleges gone, everything gone. We have a select few colleges where players actually look at. The rest just kind of disperse to everybody else. 100% it's made a wider playing field, but you look at the football scene right now, where's everybody going, right? SEC's got the power schools, right? They got the big money. And then you look back at the Big Ten, you have Ohio State, you got Michigan, you have teams like Oregon in there, right? Those are your big schools. Oregon's got a boatload of money to spend in the NIL department. Wisconsin doesn't. They have to disperse it everywhere else. Not as high in the football game, right? So NIL money, that has killed Wisconsin football. So we can blame it all on Luke Fickle. We can blame it all on the recruiting front and everything like that and getting the right players into the system. But at this point, it has to come down to coaching, because we're back to Barry Alvarez leading 3-star recruits, 2-star recruits, building them up and just making them go, right? That's where we're at right now. We need... I wouldn't start with in hindsight, long story short, I'm not starting with Luke Fickle. If you're going on this firing squad right now, Trestle, Longo, bam, gone. Find somebody else to fill those roles. I am still praying deep down inside of me right now that the Badgers find a way to bring Jim Leonhard back. I really do. I know Jim Leonhard is probably never coming back. There's probably a 0.00001% chance that Jim Leonhard even decides to come back, because he feels, people say that he feels like the Badgers outed him of the head coaching spot and everything like that. I get it, but dude, you weren't going to recruit. This gives you a spot to come back to Madison. I want him back. I'm going to be honest with you. I want Jim Leonhard back in Madison. I really do. I really do. I miss those defenses. I really do. I miss those defenses under Jim Leonhard. If you can find a way to get him back, that would solve a boatload of my problems. I'll be honest with you. It would solve a boatload of my problems. Now, the Longo side of it, you just get rid of him. Find somebody else. I did not think that his offenses were that great at North Carolina. I did not think they were that great. And now he came to Madison. We just expected this whole air raid crap show to just go fantastic. We were branding it the dairy raid. Everything was going to be great. It hasn't been great, right? So if you're going to start with any firings, you look at those two guys first. Then you move on to Fickle after that. If you go through defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators left and right, and it's still a crap show, now we got to look further. Now you're looking at the whole regime. Now you're looking somewhere else for a head coach. But right now, the way that the NIL system is set up and everything like that, the Badgers are a team that has to recruit guys who are going to develop, stay in the system, and find a way to get them to the point where we are competing at a high level again. Right now, it's about recruiting those kinds of guys and building them up over the years. We got some young guys right on this roster. We got some young guys, some youth that we're hoping to build off of. Those are the guys that you're looking for in the future there to be able to progress and that Luke Fickle can get going there. You're hoping that the recruiting classes coming in will help it out there. Same with the transfer portal, which I also think sucks, but the transfer portal will help them out in that facet there, and they find a way, right? They find a way there. So with that, that's about all I got for today. I mean, the Brewers right now, watching them, they're playing the Phillies right now, 3-1 game here. I still dislike Hobie Milner, but he found a way to get out of the inning, so that's great. Great for him. Found a way to get out of this inning. Brewers up 3-1 right now. Hopefully tomorrow we're talking about a Brewers win. We got more to get into with the Packers tomorrow there. We got more to get into with the Badgers. Tons more to get into, but that's about all we got for today. So, like I said, tomorrow, hoping to get live on Twitch or Twitter. Find those at Wisco Sports on the go. You can find it in both locations. Otherwise, hoping to get live on Facebook at some point here. Tell your friends about the show. When you find me on the podcast sites, whether it's Apple, Spotify, wherever it is, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the show there. Also, leave a review. Reviews help out tremendously. Let me know what you thought of the show, anything like that, anything you thought of what I was saying, if it was wrong, if it felt like I was right, anything like that. Would love to hear from you there. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trade. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. But until I talk to you guys again tomorrow, deuces.